Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to Rockin Robbie Live. In fact, the grand return of Rockin Robbie Live. It's been over a month since we've done this, but here we are. We're back again. It's been a busy month for me as well as you, I am sure. We will get caught up. I may not be as energetic tonight as I typically am. The reason for that is I have been laid up with COVID since my birthday. So happy birthday to me. I was diagnosed with COVID that day. Still have it. Not feeling near as bad as I was. I was feeling bad there for a few days. But now I'm feeling great, actually, to be honest with you. So decided to go ahead and keep the promise and bring Rockin Robbie Live back as a double header with the amazing, exceptionally extraordinary Blame Fable Tonight show, which was tonight on Instagram, which was absolutely fantastic. So, we're still going to have a full show tonight and all that stuff, and I plan on bringing the energy as long as you can keep it going. How is everybody doing? It's been a while since I've even done this. What's coming up on the show? Well, first of all, I'm supposed to say some stuff. Usually, this is the show where we talk about comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We've got a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to be talking about our favorite comic books of last week. We'll be looking ahead at what's coming up in shops this week, including the DC sneak peek. We'll be talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That will be a spoiler review. We'll be doing Marvel in the 80s. We'll be talking about Firestarter again. Why? I don't know. Top 5 2002 movies. And we're going to be talking about the final episode of X-Men, the animated series, Season 1. So how is everybody doing? I do want to say you should join the PCP Army over at Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you might as well join us over at Pop Culture Philosophers. And we're also on Instagram. You can follow us there. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. And you should check out popculturephilosophers.com for podcast blogs and a whole lot more. And you can support us over at patreon.com/PCP or with Super Chat tonight. And we've also have this new thing now called Super Thanks. So it's basically you can give a super chat on any video. It's like a tip jar, I guess. I don't know. We are still, of course, gathering funds for the Heroes Con portion of the Rockin Robbie 2022 tour. And I will say that all the super chats and stuff that we get till the end of May will be deposited to me literally right before we go to Heroes Con. So they'll be very much appreciated. Anyway, we're going to have a great show tonight. Let's see who is in the chat. We get R. Ariaga. We got GT Key Comic. Perry is in the house. The artist formerly known as Jesse. Say what? Taki's in the house. Two Gun Pedro. That's right. Station. And don't forget about the pop, pop, boom. We'll get back into the swing of things. What's up, Kirk Doom? Kirk Doom's Comics and Things. I believe I know you. I think we met at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. What's up, Eddie? What's up, Joram? What's up, Moni? Well, thank you. Happy belated birthday to me as well. Yeah, it was a good gift, man. I'll tell you that. Hey, Robbie from Earth 2's in the house. Yeah, I am feeling a lot better. Not 100% there yet. I was hoping to go back to work tomorrow. It's not looking like that's going to be the fucking case. What's up, Dismay Comics? What's up, Kirby? What's up, William? What's up, Trenton? How is everybody doing? Josh, what's up? Sorry you got that birthday present. Glad you're feeling better, though. Yeah, I'm feeling better. I'm a little bit better. I'm feeling better. I was doing Dylan's Horse Show last night, and I started getting passionate talking about something, and I started winding myself. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm going to have to slow down. What's up, Kenneth? What's up, James? How are y'all doing? Thank you all for being here. Perry just picked up some Bubba Kush. Doing great. That's nice. It's got to be nice. Do join us over at the Experience tomorrow. I do plan on being there tomorrow for the show. We didn't get to do the preview show on Friday because my voice was trashed on that day. I'll tell you that. But dynamicforces.com, if you're ever there and you want to buy something, enter Robbie at your cart, you will receive 10% off. Of course, there is the Rockin Robbie tour. We've already passed the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo, but we do got Heroes Con coming, Memphis Comic Expo, and Scarefest. PCP movie night tomorrow night. We're in Crew's choice, so it's Jelani's choice. His pick is Black Dynamite. This is my first time watching this movie. I cannot wait to talk about it. I had a lot of fun watching it. And then for Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday, we're doing Pieces, which is a 1983 film. I think it's on Peacock right now. It's also on Tubi. But apparently it's supposed to be pretty gnarly. And I'm in the mood for something gnarly. So how is everybody doing? This show, even though we got a grand plan, is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. And station yourself, Fable. And what's up, Eric? Rockin Robbie Live is back. My Sundays are complete again. Hell yeah, man. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to have a good show tonight. And you had a great show. I watched the whole damn thing. Y'all did a fantastic job on Blame Fable tonight. My favorite Instagram show. What's up, Trenton? I'm doing as well as can be expected. I'm feeling all right. So yeah, it's been a while. But anyway, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, whatever you want to talk about. Get in your gist. But before we get into catching up with everybody, let's kick it off with the first five. And of course, we're going through the Blu-ray collection. We last left off at Reanimator. I actually had to go and look at the last time we did a Rockin Robbie Live to verify this. So, moving along, we've got Bride of Reanimator. That is a European edition because it was like out of print or not available here on Blu-ray or something. For some reason, I bought it there, but I got that. Anyway, one of my birthday presents I got from my girlfriend this week was Beyond Reanimator to complete the trilogy. So there you go. And then we got Record. Some people call it Rec. I call it Record. I don't know. What are you supposed to call it? But anyway, that I've only ever seen the first one of these, and it was so long ago, I barely remember it. But I also have 2 and 3. And the reason why is because it's all part of the Scream Factory set, which I wanted to go ahead and pick that up before. So obviously there's one more left, but we'll have to deal with that in the final 5. So there you go. Dun, 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 dun. I actually like that little bit. Need a PCP booth at MegaCon. Man, I am worn out. This has been a few weeks. Let me tell you, Perry. So, we have the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. Since we've last done a Rockin Robbie Live, well, I was gearing up for the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. And I wanted to get all my comic books in order so I could separate things for mystery boxes. And that project took way longer than I thought. But then we did the expo, had a great time there. And then, the next week there was just things were going on. We needed to do the monthly review, and I had the Nick Patera show, so it got jammed up. So I was like, well, no more Rockin Robbie Live for that week. And then Bueller was in town, and then I got COVID. Yeah, it was my birthday week. Bueller was in town. We had a great time. Free Comic Book Day was awesome. Meeting Bueller was awesome. Bueller's the coolest. Being on the bus, we did a couple shows together. If you missed them, check it out. There's one on his channel and one on my channel. He's in my studio, and I'm on the bus for his channel. But had a lot of fun. And on my birthday, I got COVID. So there you go. Hey, Nick, Comic Culture with the Super Chat. Pop, pop, boom. Glad you're feeling better, brother, and welcome back. Well, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it, Nick. Of course, we saw Nick at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. It's always great to meet him again. Doesn't Rec 3 take place before Rec 1? I don't know. I've only seen the first one, and it was like when it first came out, so I don't have a lot of recall on it. Perry, Robbie, do you like video games? If so, what? Yeah, I like video games, but mostly the video games I like are going to be from like Super Nintendo and the Atari 2600. That kind of jam. So I'm a little old school. I'm not I wouldn't call myself a retro gamer because I don't collect games and systems and shit, but I like playing those games. Those are the games I like to play. I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's been a fun time, man. Lots of exciting stuff. So, how have y'all been? Obviously, we lost George Perez. That sucked. Lost Neil Adams. That sucked. I saw that. Okay, so I'm just going off Fable now because I haven't done a wrap up in a minute. But he was talking about the Avatar trailer. I did watch that. I think it will be pretty. So there you go. I think it'll be pretty. I didn't necessarily like the Avatar movie that much. I wasn't a super big fan of it, but I thought it looked pretty and the 3D was awesome. So I'm excited to see something like that, I guess. Jordan says, making dinner and we got beats bumping. Oh, happy Rockin Robbie is feeling better. Oh, me too, brother. Me too. Me too. Got a turtle blimp. So that's dope. Everybody's just saying what's up to each other. What y'all want to talk about? Y'all got to guide me here, man. First of all, it's been over a month, and I'm not feeling the greatest still. So, where are we going? What do y'all want to talk about? Getting my comic books in order, though, was really cool. I am very glad that all my stuff is in order. I can go find stuff. I started doing a little bit more posting on Instagram of just like comic of the day. Haven't been doing it a lot this week, for obvious reasons. But I've been doing that, trying to participate and throw your setup Saturday. New creative teams on Bat Books. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. I'll tell you that. Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez on Batman. I'm very excited to get some of that dynamic Jimenez artwork back on Batman. I've been digging the Shadow War thing. I think it's fine. But I'm excited to have like a solid team on that to have a continuous vision going forward. And then, of course, Ram V. And is it Raphael Albuquerque, right? But Ram V on Detective Comics. Very excited for that. And also, Dan Waters was announced as the writer of a new Azrael series. So, very excited for that as well. My boys are getting big gigs. And I could not be more excited. So we're definitely going to have to try to get Dan back on the show. And Ron back on the show now that they're fucking bigwigs. We'll see what happens. We will, Ariaga, we will be doing a Doctor Strange spoiler review coming up in the show. How do you think the X-Men are going to get introduced to the MCU? I think, I don't know. Like, they don't have to do anything spectacular. You know what I'm saying? They're just characters that have existed, that have been there. You know, they can just do any way that someone would reboot or reintroduce or revitalize a film franchise. They could just do that. They could just do another X-Men film. Knowing Marvel, they're going to try to tie into it, lead into it or something. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a Wolverine cameo before we ever see an X-Men film or any other X-Man. But I don't know, you know, because there were strong rumors we were going to get one of those in Doctor Strange. Not necessarily the case. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I don't think they have to weird stretch or do anything silly. I think they just start introducing the X-Men. And you can do it through movies with certain characters. But I think that would only really work if you just kind of had like a Wolverine cameo somewhere or something like that. But I don't know. They know what they're doing. So I don't know. Maybe I think like with the Fantastic Four, maybe they should just do an X-Men movie and see what they do. Or maybe they'll do a Wolverine movie first. Who knows? What is a turtle blimp? It's this. This is a turtle blimp. You look, Tucky, there it is. It's a blimp that turtles use. It was a toy that Playmates, this is the redo. Playmates just put it back out again. But super fun. Nick says, 2 months behind organizing my books. Yeah, I was like 12 years. So, but yeah, it will get out of hand quickly. Will it not? Perry says, I've been collecting old consoles and games. Man, it's a giant money pit. I know. I wanted to do it. During the pandemic, I fell into a big hole of gaming historian and angry video game nerd, but in particular gaming historian, and you don't get near enough content from that dude. But the stuff that is out is so good. He just released finally. I've been waiting and waiting for this. Was his Super Mario World documentary. Fantastic stuff. But during that time, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a fucking Nintendo and a Super Nintendo and a Genesis and I'm gonna buy all that shit, right? Nah, man. That's a bunch of money, and I never play games. Like, I get an emulator with all that shit on it. I never play it. How cool to see Howard Porter working on Batman for now. It is cool. I actually really preferred him on Deathstroke Incorporated. I really liked what he was doing there when he left. I felt like the book kind of lagged a little bit because of it. But his Batman, I like his dynamism that's in his work right now. And I like the way he does Batman. It's my first exposure to Howard Porter was JLA and by Grant Morrison and Howard Porter. I was like 15 or something when that was coming out. And it was my first Morrison book. And at first I didn't really like the artwork, and then it really grew on me, and I really liked the way he does Batman. Yeah, all friends of the show. Well, Chip's not a friend of the show. Rom is, though, but... And Dan. Patch Wolverine? That'd be interesting. Do you think starting an Ultimate MCU universe with X-Men and others yet to be seen characters, then do a Secret Wars crossover? I don't think you got to do anything like that, Trenton. I don't think so. I think they're building into Secret Wars, but I think they're building into the Hickman Secret Wars, and I think more so they're building into the preamble to Secret Wars, and we'll be talking more about that when I'm doing the Doctor Strange spoiler review. But I don't think you got to do anything weird where they're in their own universe and then you collide them. They just introduce them, you know? What's up, Cags? There was a Timberwolf cameo before CW canceled everything. Yeah, a lot of people I see some people lamenting it, but a lot of other people being like, well, good riddance. Like, I stopped watching that shit a long time ago. Taki says, Rom V's run on Detective will be legendary. It's got potential. We'll see. Perry says, my books are 0% organized. What's up, Empire? How are you doing? 0%. All right. It's time to flashback to last week. And like I said, Tuesday was the day I started not feeling so well. And after I got done with the review, when it was uploading, I was just feeling worse and worse. And I called Mike, and I was like, Mike, I need you to bring me a COVID test. Just drop it off at the door because something's up, man. This doesn't feel normal. Doesn't feel just like I'm getting sick. It just ramped up. So Mike brought me a COVID test, and sure enough, I was positive. A few other people at the shop tested positive. So they've been severely understaffed. So I do want to publicly say station to everybody at the Deep Comics and Games who are keeping it together for us. I know it's rough right now as the summer's kicking in, the post-free comic book day buzz and booming, and a few of us are out, so I really appreciate them stepping up. I wanted to be back tomorrow. I was hoping I could be back tomorrow, but it doesn't seem like that might be the case. Get tested again in the morning. We'll see what happens. Perry says, yeah, I got a ton of emulators, but some games run best on the OG console. Yeah, but what I'm saying is if I hardly ever play them as is, what do I think that investing hundreds of dollars into the retro game collection that I want? Because I want an Atari 2600, and I want the Master System and the Mega Drive, and I want the Super Nintendo, and I want a fucking Famicom. Why not? I want all that shit. There was a booth at the expo that had all that shit, and I was just like really struggling not to get something, man. But like I get it. I would love it, but I want it. I want it all. I want my whole apartment to look like a toy store from the 80s and the 90s. And I'm working on it. I'm getting there. Bueller was here, and Bueller just goes, just toys everywhere, man. And I mean everywhere. Every room in the fucking house, there are toys, man. Hallway, toys. Robbie, have you checked out the Boneyard Mythos free comic book day issue? Lemire's plans for releasing the stories is interesting. I haven't yet. I haven't actually looked at any of my free comic book day ones. That is something I planned on doing. So I got a stack in there in the living room, but I haven't actually gotten to read any of them, except for the Dark Crisis and the Marvel ones. That being said, I read Dark Crisis #1. Dark Crisis #1 feels more like a prelude. But I did like it. But it is prelude, straight up prelude. Oh, I missed super chat. We got Kirk's Dooms Comics and Things. I was gonna call you Kirk. It was lovely to meet you, brother. It is a badass blimp. It's pretty dope. You know, I got it. I haven't even unboxed it yet. Jelani and Brooks already had theirs open. Showed it off last week, I think, for happy birthday to me. Thank you for the super chat, Kirk. Appreciate it. Anyway, we really do appreciate that, Kirk. All super chats go on to help right now fund the Heroes Con leg of the Rockin Robbie Tour of 2022. All the super chats that we collect through May will be given to us graciously from YouTube after they take their Google fee right before Heroes Con. So that's Heroes Con money, y'all, literally. That I'm just going to shove over to Jim Rugg and Ed Piscor. Jim Monfood. Perry says, your shirt is freaking dope. Thank you. Slumber Party Massacre 2. Fucking love that movie. Don't forget about the Commodore 64. I was rewatching Firestarter, the original. And she's got a ColecoVision that they give her. And I was like, oh, man. TK's finally unbanned. TK's back, everybody. What's up? Were you banned again? Bruh. Really? Buy it all, Robbie. Oh, I wish. Kirby says, I totally empathize with your situation, Robbie. Hoping your staff has a safe and swift recovery. I agree. I think we're all doing well. We're just still testing fucking positive, man. Like, if it wasn't COVID, if it was anything else, I'd be back at work. Badass Blimp, that was my name in high school, says Eric. Hell yeah. All right, it's time to look back, though, to last week. What are our favorite comic books? So anyway, what I was saying was I was so out of it when I was reading those books. Like, I barely remember much of what I read, man. Like, it'll be funny. Go back and watch that. That's the COVID fucking weekly comic book review. That's the day that it was happening. And I was like, ugh. And I was like, I remember even being like, I just want to get through this. I was just like, it was taking me so long to get through some of the comics. It was outstandingly weird. Anyway. What's your favorite comic book from last week? What is your, as we like to call it, pick of the week? Mine was Sandman Universe Nightmare Country, issue #2. Now, Nick Comic Culture, had asked in his weekly review what it's like for someone who is familiar with the world and mythology and the lore of the Sandman for this book. You do understand certain things. Like, if you've read The Sandman, in particular, it's really just book 2. It's the doll's house. That's the Corinthian stuff. But there's way more involved in that story. The Corinthian is just a part of it. Now, there was like a Corinthian series or something here and there, but I never read any of those. So there was an expansion of the Sandman universe during those days. There was always Sandman Presents books and shit, but I barely read any of those. I just read Neil Gaiman's Sandman. That being said, you understand who this character is, what hit, like the past that they're referring to. we know that's what they're talking about. So it is rooted deeply in there, but the story that it's telling is its own. Like all the other characters and all that stuff, and it's very intriguing. I really liked this issue. I think that Lissandro Estherren does an amazing job with the artwork here. He is the artist on Redneck, which I hear a lot of people say they don't like the artwork in that book. But then when you see it kind of handled this way, a little bit more Martin Simmons, a little less Leonardo Fernandez, for instance, a lot of people respond to it a lot better. Cue up Strange Skies in over East Berlin. But then you have Andrea Sorrentino, and in each issue of this book, I believe there's going to be a few pages, a sequence set in the dreaming that's going to be done by a different artist. And Sorrentino is a master, as well as Estherren. So I really like the book. I like the usage of the Corinthian so far. I like the mystery. So the Corinthian is a nightmare. And when Dream was captured, and the whole gist of book 1 of Sandman is the dream has been captured. During that time, a lot of things go awry in the dreaming. One of those is a lot of dreams and nightmares escape. Corinthian escapes and becomes a serial killer and gets tied up into this story in book 2, The Doll's House. So that's the past that they're referencing, and he's starting to remember that because he basically got put back into the dreaming and kind of mind wiped in a way. So really like this book. I didn't think it was the best week. I thought there were some decent stuffs. I liked Red Room. I was trying to think of what was going to be like. We were shorted a lot of stuff too. So we didn't get Killock. We didn't get the Joneses. We didn't get Farmhand. So we were shorted a lot of stuff too. But remember, that was the pick of the week. And what else was going to be on my list? I can't even remember right now. But y'all will remind me. So I want to know, what did you think of Nightmare Country issue 2? And what was your favorite book last week? What was your pick of the week? All right. Didn't Red Room have a cardstock cover? I believe. Don't they mostly do? Don't they mostly do? I thought they mostly did, but I'm not sure. Damien in the house, Sleepy Reader 666. Hey, buddy. How you doing, man? Thank you for the shout out I saw at the end of your last comic book countdown video, which I really love watching your videos. So everybody needs to check out the Sleepy Reader 666 channel. I believe he just recently celebrated 10 years here on YouTube. Eric says, 7 Secrets takes the cake for this light week. Joram says, Grim. Nick says, we'll keep the badass blimp nickname alive for Eric. Trent says, I've never read any of the Sandman universe, and I have been enjoying Nightmare Country. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 8 Billion Genies. That would have been my number 2. I didn't do, I think Red Room was going to be on there for sure. Oh, I'm trying to think now. What are the other ones? Thoughts if Null makes cameo in Thor Love and Thunder via Gore's origin? Maybe, but probably not. I wouldn't bank on it. Moni says, Scorched was my pick of the week. Spawn a close second. Hell yeah. Speaking of Spawn, some exciting news to announce eventually for the channel. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, though. And it's not what you're thinking. It's not getting taught on the channel or nothing. We're not there yet. So, Nick says, top 3 was 8 Billion Genies, Red Room, and Sandman. Taki's like Shang-Chi. Mark McGrath, we still do not know for sure if he is or isn't the former lead singer of Sugar Ray. The Rush, Nottingham was good. Bunny Mask, Killock, and Hawk the Slayer. Eddie says, my pick of the week was the Carmen hardcover. Loved the story and the art. Absolutely gorgeous. Kirk says 8 Billion Genies was good. Taki says Sleepy. Here's to 100 years on YouTube. Absolutely. Josh says Jurassic League. I think that was on the top 5. Jurassic League, Never thought I'd say it, but it was just a ton of fun. Also had a lot of heart. Yeah, I liked it. And Nick, I watched your video, and Daniel Warren Johnson co-wrote this with another dude. I think it's Juan Gideon. Juan Gideon did the artwork. So you were commenting that the artwork didn't seem as dynamic necessarily, or as there was something different from Daniel Warren Johnson. It's because it was Juan Gideon. Spawn 329 had a good origin. Yeah, I really do. Nick says, oh, it's the real Mark. I just love the mystery. That's my favorite thing about Mark McGrath. I first of all appreciate that you're here and commenting. My second favorite thing is the mystery. I did like Spawn, though. I liked Scorch, too. I like both of those books. I jumped out of the rush, but I'm hearing it's really picked up steam. I'm trying to remember what was the other book that would have been on my top 5. I don't remember. Ari Ariaga says Red Room, but it was the only one I read this week. I liked it, but I wasn't as into it. Like the Bitcoin stuff, all that shit, like it loses me sometimes. So like I was reading it, but I was like, I don't know. It didn't hit me like the last couple. So I would say it's my least favorite issue of Trigger Warning so far, but it was still a top tier book, I thought. Still liked it. What's up, Jay Nunya? Trenton says, I've been busy, so I haven't read much of my comics, but I really enjoyed Noctera. All right. Because of the gracious actions of our good friend, Mike the Voice Matthews, FC says, are those Star Trek novels in the back? Yes, these are Star Trek Next Generation novels. My DS9 ones are down there. My Star Trek proper ones are over there, and then the hardcovers are over there. And then back there, you can see a tiny bit of it maybe right there. Back there, I've got other random odds and ends like New Frontier and just stupid shit. And I even got some Enterprise books and Voyagers. But I don't know why. I got a lot of Star Trek novels. But that's what these are. Sleepy Reader says Norse mythology was good. Trent says Hulk versus Thor was pretty good as well. Jacob says the Bitcoin masked man was an homage to Rorschach, right? I don't know, was he? Logan says Spawn and Scorched were great. Jay says I liked Bone Orchard from Lemire and Sorrentino. Ronald, what is up, my man? Station. Bueller was over and he was like, because in my hallway I've got the Pop Culture Philosophers, the banner that you had made for me. I have that in the hallway, and Bueller was like, what's this? And I was shouting you out, man. I will be grabbing my books tomorrow. Excited about Jurassic League. My granddaughter's in town. Going to read that with her. She loves dinosaurs. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome. All right, now it's time to look ahead at what's coming up in shops this week. And because of the gracious activities of Mike the Voice Matthews, he did grab my DC books for me and brought them to me and left them at my doorstep. So I do have access to those for the DC sneak peek. But coming out this week, we have Flash 782, Thor 25, Wolverine 21, X-Force 28, Fantastic Four 43, New Mutants 25, World's Finest number 3, Immortal X-Men number 2, Batman The Knight number 5, X-Men Red number 2, Catwoman 43, Eternals number 12, King Spawn number 10, House of Slaughter issue 6, Nightwing 92, Venom Lethal Protector number 2, Silk number 5, Star Wars Dr. Aphra number 20, Spider-Punk number 2, Shadow Warzone number 1, Wolverine Patch number 2, Han Solo and Chewbacca number 2, Savage Avengers number 1, written by David Pepose, friend of the show, Walking Dead Deluxe 39, Iron Fist 3, Elektra, Black, White, and Blood number 4, The Marvels number 10, The Excellent number 3, Mike Allred Goodness, Reign number 5, Power Rangers number 19, Slumber number 3, Marvel Voices Identity number 1, Fables returns with issue 151, Black Hammer Reborn number 12, Alice Ever After number 2, A Town Called Terror number 2, I Hate This Place number 1 is a new one from Image, Wonder Woman Evolution number 7, Transformers 43, Usagi Yojimbo 28, Earth Prime number 4, Stargirl, Bolero number 5, Hit Me number 3, Critical Role Vox Machina Origins number 6, The Blue Flame number 8, New Masters number 4, Duo number 1, Hell Sonia number 5, Nyx number 6, hey that rhymes, Angel number 5, Faithless Volume 3 number 4, Life Zero number 4, Barnstormers number 1, I think that's a Comixology debut from the Tula Lotte Scott Snyder, Jennifer Blood number 8, Breakout number 2, Count Crowley, Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter number 2, Shaolin Cowboy, Cruel to Be Kin number 1, excited for that, Looney Tunes 266, Armorclad number 3, TMNT Best of Rat King number 1, Kaiju Score, Steal from the Gods number 2. What else? Cover of Darkness number 5, Speed Republic number 4. And Strange Attractors number 13. And that is what is coming up in shops this week. I'm excited for a lot of those. But the one I'm most excited for is Shaolin Cowboy, Cruel to Be Kin, number 1 from Jeff Darrow. Very pumped for that. Jay says, Twig is pretty great. The art is beautiful. I agree. The art is beautiful in that book. Very nice. Aggressively Relaxing is in the house. What is up? What is up, Verno from the Cerebros? Always fun hanging with you on Dylan's Horror Show, my friend. Hope you had a good day. I know you had to get an early start this morning. Just Some Rando says, wanted Iron Fist to be good. It's pretty boring so far. I agree. Jay says, Fable, not Fable. Finally, Blue Flame. Vault has been running late. Yes, they have. They are still making the Looney Tunes book, and it's still $2.99, I believe. So we always talk about how Spawn's $2.99, so's Looney Tunes. So there you go. There you go. All right, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, DC Sneak Peek, Doctor Strange spoiler review, and Marvel in the 80s. We'll be right back here on Rockin Robbie Live.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little
That's right, officially unofficial geek. You did show up just in time for my first bathroom break. Welcome back, everybody, to Rockin Robbie Live. Back after a hiatus of over a month. Still feeling a bit under the weather, but we are having a great show tonight, catching up on what's been going on. Thank you for everybody that's jumped in, like Steph, Missing Link. Great show with Fable and Big Herm, of course. Down at Blame Fable tonight on Instagram. Great stuff. Welcome, Zach. We got so many people popping in. Really do appreciate all the people. Rusty Rage. Jay says, is it just me or is Scarlet Witch selfish as fuck? Probably talking about Doctor Strange. I would say yes, but so am I, and so are most of us, and I think that's the point of telling human stories. Anyway, we'll be getting to a Doctor Strange review soon. Before that, the DC sneak peek, and then after the Doctor Strange review, Marvel in the 80s. So very excited to be back here for Rockin Robbie Live. I've missed y'all so much. I will say you can join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, follow Pop Culture Philosophers there. We're also on Instagram. I got all my comics in order now, so I've been doing like comics of the days and shit like that, so it's real fun. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie, and you can join us over at popculturephilosophers.com for podcast blogs and a whole lot more. The next episode of the podcast has been edited, should be released at some point. I haven't heard official word back yet from Hammer Time about when he's going to drop it, because I know he didn't have the best quality microphone issue. He has some mic issues going on, and I think he's embarrassed, but I was like, they just want to, let's just let everybody hear it, man. It's a good show. It's a great show. We talked about comic book villains. We'll be doing the Mel Brooks one soon. It got delayed again because, once again, I got COVID. So there you go. Don't worry. I mean, I'm vaxxed up and shit. So like it just feels like the flu, all that kind of stuff. Apparently I'm not over it because I'm getting winded doing this fucking show. Isn't that crazy? I was like, man, I'm going to take the first break at 45 minutes. That's wild. I was like, 15 more minutes stretching. No, we're taking it now, man. Anyway, thank you all for being here. The Space Cats anthem gets me hyped. Yeah, it gets me hyped too. You can support the channel with a super chat or super thanks. That's a new thing here on YouTube. You can just leave a tip on any video now. So that's always an option. Do remember any super chats, super thanks that we get by the end of May, we will be getting right before the Heroes Con trip, which is the next step on the Rockin Robbie 2022 tour. So all super chats will be very helpful. We do appreciate it. And then PCP Movie Night continues tomorrow. It is Crew's choice. It's Jelani's pick. He picked Black Dynamite. And very excited to talk about this movie because I watched it for the first time a few days ago. And I'm excited to get into it. Dylan's Horror Show. We're talking about Pieces this week, which is a slasher horror film, something from the 1983. I've heard good things about it. I'm very excited to check it out. TK's Batcave is still not banned. Did you think it was going to happen again? William, there is no martial arts movie review tonight. Tonight we're instead doing Doctor Strange, and we're doing a little bit of Firestarter review. But next week we will be having the Kung Fu movie return. I don't know the movie off the dome right now, but Bob has messaged me and he sent it to me. And he told me I should be getting it like Monday or Tuesday. So I'm excited for that. Steph says, Black Dynamite is hilarious. Fun pick, Jab. Steph, if you want to join us, we got an open spot. Have you ever been on a PCP movie night? You do a great movie review on Blame Fable tonight. We're always on Horror Show together. We should do, if you're available tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time, feel free, bro. Let me know. Just holler at me. I had a lot of fun with that one. But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community. Steph says, I have it. I'm there, homie. Hell yeah, bruh. We got Steph making a PCP movie night debut tomorrow night. Hell yeah. 8 p.m. tomorrow night. And if anybody doesn't have Black Dynamite, it was on Amazon Prime. So that's where I watched it. I kind of want to watch it again. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like, it's so... There's this one dude, I can't even resist talking about it. The fucking one dude who's like playing an actor who's so bad that he's reading the direction. So he's like, sarcastically, I am. And he's like saying like this, the screen direction in the script. And then like there's a moment where like Michael Jai White's like, it's so fucking funny. Oh my God. That movie's great, man. That was a good pick. Jelani had originally picked Blues Brothers. And then he's changed it and said, you know what? I'm picking Black Dynamite because you still haven't seen it. And I was like, yeah, I hadn't seen it. And I'm glad I have now. That fucking movie is hilarious. I cannot wait till we get to talk about the theme. Oh, man. Fucking turning people... Oh, damn, he's got a little dick now. Should we kill him? I can't wait to talk about Black Dynamite tomorrow. So everybody, I will remind you yet again that Black Dynamite is what we're doing for PCP movie night tomorrow night. What was that dude's name? Cream Corn? Oh my God. Jay says The Northman is good. I haven't seen that one yet. I still haven't seen Lighthouse or Witch, and I have both of them in the house. So COVID. So I didn't have to work. I did a little bit of work here and there, but I wasn't up to do anything, to be honest with you, but I obviously couldn't go into the shop, and I still can't, and it fucking sucks. I got, like, Monday's like one of my busiest fucking days, y'all, and I'm like, it's like torturous not being there to do it. But anyway, I have to do a lot of it here. So, let's see. I read the entirety of the Eastman Laird Ninja Turtles run, like the Ultimate Collections, the 6 volumes, read all of those, read all 3 volumes of the Sin Cities that have been re-released, so up through Big Fat Kill. Read those. I read Hard Boiled. I read all of Martha Washington. So I read all that stuff. I watched both of those Firestarter movies. I caught up on Picard Season 2. Some things I like. Most things I don't. I'd give it a 2.5 to 3 out of 5. So there's that. I didn't watch Strange New Worlds yet because I'm still trying to get... I got this idea that I'll get caught up on Discovery. So I've been trying to rewatch Season 1 because that's all I've seen. So I'm in the middle of that. Watching a lot of Bob Ross. Slept a lot. Wednesday and Thursday were the roughest days. They were like super rough, y'all. And Friday morning my voice was shot and I had to cancel a couple shows. But I'm feeling a lot better now, but obviously I'm not completely over it, as I'm proving right now. But I haven't left this house in almost a fucking week now. And it is starting to fucking drive me insane. Luckily, I got good friends. Brian and Mike have dropped shit off for me that I need, medicine, groceries, shit like that. Mike keeps bringing me sodas and shit like that. So, pretty fun. So yeah, I mean, it hasn't been that bad. It's just been chilling here with the cat. I feel bad because I don't want to give the cat COVID because I was looking it up. I was like, can you give your cat COVID? And they were like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm not. What am I gonna do? Like, I got the cat. But she seems fine. She's right here underneath my. Hey, little bitty. Yeah, she's just chilling. So, yeah. Well, see, I got a Samsung TV that my girlfriend got me. So, and my girlfriend's birthday's this week. So I hope that everything's cool by fucking Thursday and Friday. But, Jesus. So, some people said this could be like 10, 13 days. But other people are like 5 days. But it's not been 5 days. That's not. Anyway, everybody's different, you know. Where was I at? What was I talking about? Who knows? Who cares? Josh says, yo, Robbie, thanks for the 8 Billion Genies recommendation. Really liked it. Hell yeah. Oh, the Bob Ross thing. Yeah, OUG, you reminded me. So I got a Samsung TV, like my 4K TV that Jamie got me for Valentine's Day. And it's got Samsung TV on it, right? Like, it's like they got this network of channels. And I was looking through them, and I was like it was on one that just kept playing Home and Garden type shit. So every time the TV was turned on, it would just go to that. Unless, like, I was on, like, an app or had the Blu-ray player on or something. And then I found out they had a Bob Ross channel. So I was like, well, I'll just put it on that. So that every time the TV is turned on, and if the TV's just idle, it'll be playing Bob Ross. And I will find myself just getting fucking transfixed and watching Bob Ross. Episodes I've seen, too. They'll be like, repeats, like, how many Bob Ross episodes are there? And I've already seen repeats. Anyway. It's probably, Officially Unofficial Geek is probably the same Bob Ross channel. There are other channels on there, and I forget what some of them are. But I was just like, this one is always Bob Ross? Cool. Because it's like, when I turn the TV on, usually it just goes to, old school, it just goes to other stuff. It just goes to a menu or whatever, right? But this one, it will, like, play. I guess you could take that off, but I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I just like, when I turn on the TV, sometimes I'll come home, I'll just turn on the TV, just hear fucking Bob Ross talking in the background. Of course, I have been watching some Yankees, too, because Yankees have been tearing up. The Yankees been doing so good. Nick says, I watch Bob on Twitch all the time. Fable says, Bob Ross has that effect on everyone, I think. Hell yeah. I love it, man. And then I start thinking, like, he makes the same 5 paintings over and over. But yeah, I've had Pluto before, too, because I've had to watch some of the Kung Fu movies that Bob's recommended on there. Mark McGrath says, kind of bummed that Marvel is rumored to be losing the Conan license. Yeah, apparently it's something that was anticipated. But allegedly part of it, and this is all rumors, but allegedly part of it is that they're going to be able to still use the character in like Savage Avengers, and that they'll still be able to publish reprints, but that they won't be able to make an active Conan book, titled book. 403 Bob Ross episodes total. All right, so we got 403 Bob Ross episodes. And they're about what? Like 25 minutes each? Let's say that. That's what? 10,075 minutes, right? Yeah. We're going to convert that to hours. That's 167 hours. We'll round that up to 168. So 168 hours. That's 7 days. So, wow, they'll run through the whole fucking thing in 1 week. Did I do my math right? Someone verify my math. If I did my math right, there's a week's worth of Bob Ross. Like straight, it's just a week and it just keeps repeating. Damn, that kind of makes a lot more sense now. I liked the last Savage Avengers run. I thought it was really good. Really pumped for this new one because it's written by David Papose, friend of the show. And he has talked to me about it. He talked to me about it before it was actually announced. And he said it was basically him repurposing his Conan and versus Terminator pitch. And Terminator, Deathlock is playing the part of Terminator. But I like the last Savage Avengers run too. Maybe stretched itself out a little bit at the end, but for the most part, it was pretty solid. I think it's 100 years of Bob Ross. I don't know if your math is right. I'm picking up 7 weeks. I'm picking up 7 days. Steph says, I got this. I'm an expert at math. It seemed logically as I was progressing that it was making sense. Like I broke down the episodes in 25 minutes each, got out to a number of minutes, divided that to get the hours. I divided it by 60 to get hours, right? And I divided that number by 24. Wait, I don't even remember how I fucking did it. Somehow, I got that there was 7 days straight if you played it all going. But they have commercials. Someone help me out. How did I fucking come up with that? I said it out there. Whatever. All right, it's time to move on. DC sneak peek. Y'all motherfuckers crack me up. All right, Shadow War Zone, issue number 1. It's a one-shot comic. So Batman is doing the crossover with Deathstroke and Robin, which I'm liking. Josh Williamson doing an actual crossover. You got to read each chapter. It works, though. It's fun. It's breezy. It's easy. Obviously, kind of, because of the crossover nature, it's kind of drug out in certain places. All this is a few short stories that are tied in to the events, right? So the big draw here is the Joshua Williamson written one, which is Black Canary. So Black Canary has, I don't know if this is a new character in here. It's a new character to me. Excuse me. Otto Schmidt did the artwork in it, and it's a decent enough story, but apparently it sets up for some stuff in Omega or something like that. Then it has a Ghostmaker Clown Hunter story. It was okay. It has a Harley Quinn story that was okay. What was the other story? Oh, the other story is a Talia story, like a Talia in the past. It's okay, but it is not necessary, it seems so far, for Shadow War. Excuse me. Next up, World's Finest, issue number 3. I want to like this book more. It's not necessarily bad, but I want to like it more. The art is great. The coloring is great. But it's kind of overstuffed, right? And sometimes overstuffed is a good thing when we're talking about ravioli, you know? But when we're talking about World's Finest, and you're giving us classic Batman, Superman, Robin stories, Supergirl, Doom Patrol, Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, everybody, and it just feels a bit overstuffed, but at the same time, it is kind of fun, and it's got a vibrancy to it, so it's all right. Fables returns with issue 151. Confession, I've never finished Fables. I probably read through like 6 or 7 trades, so I never finished Fables. I decided, a lot of people will ask, a lot of people will want to know, can I just jump in and read it? You can. Just jumping in and reading it. I understand the concept of Fables, but I don't know how it ended, so I was a little lost in certain places, but I made some jumps on my own, logically, but it does just continue right off from Fables 150. It's like the next issue. So I would encourage definitely more so to read Fables, become a fan, and then get into this. So it's weird to publish it because I think a lot of the market right now hasn't read that book. Then we get Flash 782, another really solid book of Flash. It's just a good, solid, average comic book with great A plots and B plots, balancing it, balancing the drama between the family, balancing the fun of the superheroics. He's continuing on with his team up with the new Kid Flash, Wallace West, Ace as he calls him, a little bit of Iron Heights, and like I said, this is just a really good, solid, run-of-the-mill superhero comic book. It doesn't stretch too far, doesn't try to be anything it's not, and it doesn't suck. It's pretty good. Nightwing, issue 92, pretty solid issue of Nightwing. It's not necessarily the overuse of digital screen tone that I don't like so much about Bruno Redondo's artwork sometimes, because I do love Bruno Redondo's artwork. His line work is great. His composition is amazing on every page. His sense of telling a story is amazing. It's that the digitized screen tone he uses, the dots are so big and so widely spaced, it's so fucking obvious, and I don't like it. And it breaks the illusion of what screen tone is supposed to do, whether it's digitized or real, right? It's supposed to provide the illusion of shadow, of a gray tone, right? Well, it's a color book, but it's supposed to show the shadow. But it's just so obviously comic book. And it takes me out of it sometimes. That being said, everything else about the artwork I love, and the story was really good too. It's heating up. All the threads are tying back together. Batman the Knight. It's boring as fuck. This is issue number 5. I actually didn't put this on my list for Mike to bring me. Excuse me. But he decided to bring it to me anyway. So I read it. It's a chore to get through. This is Bruce trying to learn how to be like a master of disguise. It's just boring. And I know it's Chip Zdarsky, and I typically like him. And I'm not even saying that it's the typical story we've ever seen, that we see all the time, because it is how Batman became Batman, how he trains up, learns all these different skills. It's just boring. So, yeah, there's that. Then we got Duo, issue number 1. This is from Greg Pak, I think. Yeah, Greg Pak, Koi Fam, Scott Hanna, Chris Sotomayor. So this is Milestone. I don't know if there was an old Duo book from Milestone, but it was all right. It was okay. It was a bit light. It was a bit brief. It was an easy read. The artwork was okay. The story was interesting. So it's about these two lovers that are trying to work on this nanotechnology to basically connect everybody on Earth and heal them and all that kind of shit, like mentally and physically. And some evil corporation wants to kill them and take their technology, and there's a big accident and something happens. But it was okay. It was all right. Wasn't the best. So the best DC book I read this week was probably Nightwing. Even though I just went on a big tirade about how I hate it's the screen tone that he's using. The dots are so big, instead of doing the actual job of screen tone, it's more like it's trying to be like, this is a comic book, and it's trying to give us the pop factor, and it's a different way to do that. Duo was in Zombie and okay, thank you. But it was all right. It was decent. Wasn't super bad or anything like that. And that was your DC sneak peek, y'all. Sorry, I started getting choked up there. Nick says, Nightwing is the best. Ugh. Yeah, it was an okay week for DC, I guess, for the ones I read. But they were okay. Nothing really, I thought, sucked. Like, none of these books I would say sucked. Well, I wouldn't say The Night sucks, but, like, it's boring. That was the worst one. Anyway. Damien says, Overstuffed is right on World's Finest. And it sucks because the artwork is so good. And Mark Waid, we know, can tell a good, concise, clear story, right? And with that artwork, that would be so good. But it is just, there's like 3 issues in, and they're already adding more elements. And the Doom Patrol's still in there. So you got Batman, Superman. And I'm not saying that you can't have all these characters, but it's not letting any room of that plot breathe. You know, it's not developing right because it's just, ugh. Now I want some ravioli. You think somewhere's open that delivers ravioli? Who am I talking to? Nobody. Nobody's here. Nobody's been here. We're in quarantine. Yeah, but Nightwing is the best. All right, we're about to go into spoiler territory, y'all, for Doctor Strange. Nick says, I'm hoping House of Slaughter is good. All right, we're getting into spoiler territory for Doctor Strange. It's about to happen. I want to warn you because I will tell you this. Muting will not just be enough. You are literally going to have to step away if you don't want to see any spoilers because there will be some spoilers on screen. They'll be towards the end of the review, too. So I know. Did he just say making ravioli? That's a good bit. So, what sucks is Amazing Fantasy 1000. Where are the other 985 issues? Well, they did a few of them, but it's just so stupid when they do shit like that. They did a Deadpool 1000, remember, or 900. They did Marvel 1000. Like, who gives a shit? It's just stupid. It's just a special. It's basically a 68th anniversary special. That's what they should call it. You know, I've heard that COVID sometimes has delusions. Hey, faux person, get him some ravioli. Okay. I'm getting delusional. I'm talking to somebody. Actually, there is somebody right there. It's Mayor McCheese. It's a pop of Mayor McCheese. So there you go. Man, I'm leaky now, man. That's what's happening. That's what's happening up here in Huntsville Attic. What's going on? Spoilers for Doctor Strange. We're doing the Doctor Strange spoiler review, and we're doing it right now. You've been warned. Yeah, I really like this movie. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. Fantastic movie. I had so much fun with this movie. I went and I saw it with Brooks. Brooks liked it as well. I at first was really worried because there's a lot of anticipation on this movie, a lot of expectation about what is actually going to be in this movie. And a lot of people have said that they weren't excited or thrilled with it because it didn't necessarily live up to expectations. And I think their expectations were that it was going to be this big multiversal crossover thing that was going to involve like every fucking random character from any previous Marvel movie. And that was my expectation too, right? And all I wanted was a Doctor Strange movie directed by Sam Raimi. And that's what we got. And I am so freaking excited for it, y'all. This movie felt so freaking Sam Raimi, right? And it was, first and foremost, a Doctor Strange movie. And I loved it for that. So Doctor Strange, in this movie, the basic premise, and we know the plot. I'm not going to get into all of that. That's not what I'm here to do. But I really didn't like the first Doctor Strange movie, but I really liked this one. And the story and the performance by Benedict Cumberbatch was absolutely amazing, and I thought it was cool. And I really liked what Sam Raimi brought. He brought that flair. He obviously knows how to cinematize Steve Ditko because he's done it with Spider-Man, and now he's done it with Doctor Strange. But he did it with his own distinctive vision as well. So first and foremost, I love that it didn't just play into nothing but just fan service cameo after fan service cameo, and it actually was a Doctor Strange story in which he learned, grew. I like that a lot. So it does start off with another version of him with America Chavez, and America Chavez is being hunted down by someone through the multiverse who wants to steal her power. This version, Doctor Strange dies. He comes into play later. And she winds up finding her way into the 616, they decide to call it. They find our Doctor Strange and Benedict Wong and all this stuff. And man, I have so much fun with this character of America Chavez. I am not a huge fan of this character. She's never really resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? But she's not a bad character. But just, I've never read anything where I was just like, that character's badass. I really liked her in this movie. I thought she was really good. Then we got Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is the villain. The villain of this movie. Like, straight up, she's the villain. And I know a lot of people were upset because they felt like she had this arc towards redemption in WandaVision, and I don't think so. WandaVision was an amazing exploration of grief, but if you remember where it left, she was reading the Darkhold. And the Darkhold has definitely twisted her fucking mind. And yeah, she is selfish, but she's warped up and she's been swallowed by her own despair and it's turned into hate. She's Anakin Skywalkered. Some people think that the progression wasn't there, but I don't know if we had the time for it, man. It was awesome. She's the villain of the piece and she's one of the best MCU villains we've had. Straight up. Exactly. She had the Darkhold. That's the Necronomicon. So basically a lot of this movie is America and Doctor Strange on the run through the multiverse. And they're on the run from Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is badass, scary, and awesome. And there are elements of this film that feel like Army of Darkness. A lot of people are saying it's a horror film for the MCU. That's a valid description, but it's a horror film the way like a lot of Harry Potter films could have those horrific elements. Lord of the Rings, things like that. There are more intense, horrific bits, but it is more like Army of Darkness and less Evil Dead, but you know, that's varying degrees. There are some major consequences that happen here. There's some big things that characters do when characters fall and become tempted by an evil fucking book of damnation. And I was all there for it. I thought the special effects were great. Doctor Strange, so he's got this relationship with, what's her name? I can't remember her. She's right there. You can see her on the screen right now. So Rachel McAdams, that's her name. And that was kind of a weird bit in the first movie that I didn't really like. So the way they dealt with it here was really cool. Like she moves on, she's getting married, he's at the wedding, he winds up going through the multiverse, finding another version of her, and through her kind of has this growth as a character that I really like. So it was first and foremost a Doctor Strange movie over a multiverse movie. And Scarlet Witch was an amazing villain. And then here we're getting some major spoilers. Oh yeah, Nick, the music battle. That's the other thing. The way that they're showing magic here, I hated the way that they showed magic in the first Doctor Strange movie. It was all just some bullshit Inception shit and ring slinging and all that, whatever the fuck that was, right? And in this one, the way that they did the magic was way better and way more interesting to me, especially that music battle. So now we're getting to one of the worlds they go to is the home of a version of the Illuminati. A version of the Illuminati. Not the Illuminati that we will know one day, I'm sure, but a version of it. So that's a nice nod. I feel like all this Illuminati stuff, some people feel like it's just forced in to give a few cameos, and some people were, not satisfied with the amount of cameos and they wanted more. But Baron Mordo is from another world. He is the Sorcerer Supreme of his world, right? So what this whole bit is doing to me is setting up that the incursions are happening. They're probably happening because of what happened at the end of Loki season 1. So the incursions are happening. They're being noticed. This is not the last time we're going to hear about this. And then we meet the Illuminati. Spoilers. And yeah, they do all get murdered, as Jay says. But first of all, Professor Xavier's there. He's in the X-Men hovercraft. It looked kind of doofy to me, but it was all right. Monica Rambeau was Captain Marvel. Sharon Carter is Captain Carter. That was fine. Black Bolt. So you got this dude, what's his, Anton something, the guy that played Black Bolt in that TV show that Marvel wants us to forget about, played Black Bolt, and it was like comic book accurate and everything. I'll tell you this, though. Black Bolt is way too much of a fucking practiced badass to, like, not just have some shit like his mouth get taken away and then immediately freak out and try to fucking speak. Like, that was a little weak. The way how Scarlet Witch was so easily able to take out Black Bolt and Reed, but had to struggle a little bit with Monica and Sharon. That was a little bit, but whatever. But my man is it John or Josh? My man Jay Krasinski as Reed Richards. I've been wanting to see this for a while, and we only got the briefest of bits before he got spaghetti-o'd. But I'm going to tell y'all this, as a lifelong Fantastic Four fan, I loved it. The brief bits that we see, I felt the confidence of one of the smartest men around, with the empathy of understanding what it's like being a family man himself, but also with the understanding of what we have to do to save reality. I understood this dude, and I really hope that they bring this dude back to play Reed. Because being a lifelong Fantastic Four fan, I'm going to tell y'all, this is the first time ever that I felt like Reed was more accurately portrayed on the screen. Even though it was for like 40 seconds till he gets spaghetti-o'd. That being said, love it. All the dream-walking stuff, all the effects, way better than Moon Knight as far as the effects go. I loved it. Felt like a Sam Raimi film. Felt like a Doctor Strange movie. Wanda was a great villain. Had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to give this one overall 4 ya digs out of 5. What do you give it? What do you think? Let us know down in the comments right now. Nick says he needs to direct FF and play Reed. I could be 100% on board with that. Anson Mount. Thank you, Scarpad. He is Captain Pike. That's right. Mr. Fantastic's nose was distracting. Jay gives it 4 out of 5. Nick gives it 4.69. I was smiling the whole time. Scarpad says 4. I'll tell you what, y'all. I was really surprised. Really surprised that Marvel did not just do this fan service bullshit. They literally just let Sam Raimi make a Sam Raimi movie, and they told a Doctor Strange story. There was growth there on his character. Had a great villain, too. Nowhere Bound, what's up? Fable wants John Cena's Ben Grimm. I vote Channing Tatum. Kirby says 3.5 you digs for me. Zach says, I don't like going to the theater, so I will see this when it hits video. What's video, bruh? William says, the movie could have been better if it was Chthon that controlled Wanda to destroy the multiverse. Maybe. I liked the way it was. Two Gun says, Doctor Strange, just watched it today, just in time for this review. For you, Diggs. The Black Bolt I'm sorry scene was amazing. I like that too. I tell you this, though. Wanda doing, like, taking away his mouth. This motherfucker has trained himself for so long to not utter a word in surprise, panic, pain, or anything. So his first response would not be trying to fucking, you know what I'm saying? So there you go. There was some fan service. They did Professor X dirty again. Well, I think more of the fan service would have been like, I think people were literally, you've seen the memes. You know, they were wanting, I know people that were upset because they didn't get Tom Cruise Superior Iron Man. Oh, that didn't happen. Oh, I didn't get to see this person or this person or this person. Like, you really thought Deadpool was going to show up. You really thought Ben Affleck was going to show up as Batman. You really thought Godzilla was going to show up. Like, what the fuck? I loved it. And I got read. And I got the read I wanted. And I hope we continue to get the read I want. Please. That would be great. That would be really great. We now pause for station identification. All right. After what happened in WandaVision, why would Strange go to Wanda for help? Who knows? Just to set up the next movie, man. I love that they played the X-Men song. I did too. Danny Elfman's score was really good. Hey. My kitty's here with me. We had plenty of cameos in this. It would have been too distracting if there was more. Needed focus on the plot and the main characters. I agree. I saw some people complain that there wasn't the Marvel Zombie stuff like they thought. I like that there wasn't Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies, to me, has been played to death. Zombies have been played to death. Like, we got that in What If. That's fine. That's cool, but I'm so over it, man. I'm so over it. Like, I love the way that they were dealing with him, like, what, dream walking? Or whatever, into another fucking, like a dead version of himself. I thought it was really cool. My cat wants out, so we're going to have to do another station identification. Yeah, so the next arc leads to Secret Wars. I think that's what they're building to, maybe, like with the incursions. I think that's what they're building to. Are they building to the Secret Wars that we know? Like, are you going to see the Beyonder? Are you going to see God Emperor Doom taking over all the different... Maybe not, but the idea of the incursions being a threat, that's what I think we're leading to. This guy just paused the video on live TV. I know, can you believe that? It's so crazy. Tom Cruise is going to play Stain, but Mission Impossible filming and COVID stopped that. I'm glad. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Verdez25 says, I just want to see Galactus and finally a good Doctor Doom. I second that. I agree. Philip Clark says, station everyone. You guys, about Doctor Strange 2, I loved House of M reference with Wanda raking Black Bolt's mouth. The CG was a bit iffy, but I'll give it for you, Diggs. Who else when Strange took over the dead Strange heard, we live again, Army of Darkness? All right. Now it's time to Now it's time for one of our favorite God damn it. You can tell it's been a while. Now it's time for one of our favorite bits here on Rockin Robbie Live. It's time for Marvel in the 80s. And today we're talking about Spider-Man versus Wolverine, one-shot comic book from 1986, I believe. I had this and read this as a kid. When I got all my comics together, I thought I had this, but I don't anymore. So, there you go. It's written by somebody named James C. Owsley. Not familiar with the writer, but Mark Bright, I am familiar. I'm pretty sure this is the guy who became known as M.D. Bright, who did Quantum and Woody. If I am wrong, someone please correct me. But it starts off with a flashback. One of my favorite things about this, and I loved it as a kid, was that you got both of the popular costumes of each character. You got black costume Spider-Man, and you got red and blue Spider-Man. You got a little bit right here, a yellow and blue Wolverine, and you got brown and tan Wolverine. So anyway, it's a flashback. Wolverine is with somebody named Charlie, short for Charlemagne, and this is a mission. Charlemagne is former KGB, now freelance, like spy for hire, and we're not supposed to know that Charlie is a she, and it's definitely not led to here on the first page. Anyway, so you don't know that this is actually a woman that Wolverine's in love with, but that's the big setup. But anyway, Charlie is being set up by the KGB in this instance right here, a flashback to the past. Wolverine is there, and because Wolverine's there, they actually take these people out, and it just starts off with this. So artwork is pretty solid. It's not the best. It's just kind of generic and average for its time, but it does get the job done. And I really like the way they show the Berserker Rage there at the bottom with the magenta colors. I would have loved to have gotten a hold of this. I got to buy a new copy, I guess, to see it on the newsprint. So it has this flashback. Charlie is gone. Wolverine's like, I guess I'll never see Charlie again. That writer's Christopher Priest used to write under James C. Owsley. Really? Well, I am familiar with this writer. Holy shit. Thank you, Joe Corallo. I didn't even know that. That's really awesome. All right, so we got the Wolverine bit. Now we switch to present day, and it's black costume Spider-Man. And this is an era of Spider-Man where he is just depressed as fuck. I mean, like, more so than usual. Like, he is just down. He's talking about, like, so he winds up finding out, so somebody just starts randomly attacking people and shit. Well, I think that comes later. Oh, yeah, in this bit, he finds out that these shop owners that he knows have been gunned down. Turns out that they're actually former KGB agents. Charlie is back. There, we see her right there. She's in the middle of the page. It's like this whole bit where Spider-Man's like, oh, this beautiful woman doesn't seem to belong here. And then there's this death, this murder. And Peter starts, he pulls out his camera and takes pictures. He's like the ghoul that I am, I'm going to take the photos. No, the art is great. The art is solid and it does its thing. It's just, recently I've been going through my Wolverine omnibus, and Mike Zeck, Frank Miller, Al Milgram, and the MD Bright. That makes a lot of sense then. If Owsley is Priest, and this is the same Bright that did Quantum Woody, they're going to work on Quantum Woody together. Holy shit. Hell yeah. That's pretty dope. Anyway, Spider-Man swinging through, doing his thing. J. Jonah Jameson's trying to give him a gig. Ned Leeds shows up. This is also the issue where Ned Leeds dies. I think for the first or second time, not really sure. And he finds out that there's this KGB operative shit, this spy stuff that's going on. And then Peter goes back. He's not dating Mary Jane at this time. They're in a strenuous part of their relationship. So he's basically friend zoned, and that's kind of what's going on here. And that's his whole, he wants to be with Mary Jane, but they're just trying to be friends and whatnot. But his spider sense goes off, and then somebody just starts picking people off on the street. Turns out it's Charlie taking out KGB people. The whole point is that all the people that set her up in that gig that we saw her with Wolverine in the opening scene, these people are now being gunned down by her because she knows that she's at the end of her life. Basically, they have found out who she is. Everybody's after her, the KGB, MI6, the CIA. She is going to get got, and now she's just taking care of business. So Spider-Man swings in, can't save anybody, and basically goes through an existential crisis over it, kisses Mary Jane, and she's like, you shouldn't have kissed me. And now he's freaking out. And Ned Leeds gets the idea put into J. Jonah Jameson's head to be sent to Europe to investigate the return of Charlemagne, who they think is a dude. We know it's a woman who actually is in love with Wolverine, and Wolverine's in love with her. So he's going to go to Germany, to West Berlin, to find out about this, and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, gets tasked with going with him. So he goes off to West Berlin, and yes, that's right, back in the day when there was a West Berlin and an East Berlin. Wolverine's already there. He's left the X-Men to go there and take care because he knows that Charlie is back, and he's starting to kind of piece together what's going on. She's kind of on this suicide mission. He's being followed by people. The people that are following him get killed by people that are following them, that are following him. So it's going through all this James Bond, like, spy type stuff, Cold War espionage, and it's pretty decent. And then one of my favorite bits in this whole thing is that Wolverine sees Peter Parker, or he just smells him, and he's like, that's Spider-Man. So this is where he finds out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, because he just smells him, and he knows it's him, and he shows up, and he's like, look, I don't know why you're here, but you better get out. So he leads him out into the city. He's spinning around. Spider-Man doesn't have his costume. Wolverine's like, look, shit's about to go down here, and you don't want to be here. You need to leave. Peter's going to leave. He's going to go get Ned. He shows up, and Ned is dead. Ned's throat has been slit by these KGB dudes there that he was investigating. Wolverine shows up to save him, another Berserker Rage, and now we got to team up. So they're being chased through the city. Spider-Man doesn't know what he's doing. He's thinking about leaving, but the guilt, the responsibility, he is the reason. Because he left, Ned died. So now he's got to stay. So he goes to a costume shop, tries to get a costume. The only costume this guy has is a Spider-Man costume, red and blue. Despina, I love that so much. Like, I always thought that was so freaking funny when I was a kid reading this book. So he's got this costume on. He's going through the town. He's investigating, trying to figure out what's going on here. And that's what's going on. Ned is dead, my man. Strange skies over East Berlin. You're right, Mike. Thank you. We were on a break. So he's got a tracker on Wolverine. And he tracks it, and he's actually in Wolverine's in East Berlin. So Spider-Man decides that he's just going to jump over the fucking Berlin Wall. A lot of people that would read this comic today, a lot of kids wouldn't understand this. Spider-Man has no idea what he's fucking in for, because there's a minefield there. People are shooting at him. He's like, what the hell? I didn't know any of this was going to happen. But he winds up getting through, going into East Berlin. He finds Wolverine, but not really. It's just two people making whoopee because Wolverine has kind of, got him. But Wolverine's there doing his own thing, and he comes across Charlie. And this is the revelation when we find out that Charlie's actually a woman. Oh, the very woman that we saw already. Her and Wolverine have a relationship. She takes him out to a fancy dinner. And during this dinner, they realize that all these dudes this restaurant is filled with operatives from the KGB, from MI6, from CIA. Every bit of the espionage intelligence world is after her. They're going to kill her. They know that that's there, so they're trying to draw it all out. Wolverine's trying to convince her to leave with him and just kind of go off and live a life of solitude and ignore it all. Spider-Man shows up and goes, y'all, did you know that this place is filled with assassins? Wolverine's like, yeah, you dipshit, you just ruined everything. So now this really sets them off on the wrong foot. Now, if Joe is still here, maybe he will know this. He's an editor extraordinaire and he's read a lot of this stuff. I don't know when the first time Wolverine and Spider-Man met, but it might have been Secret Wars, which would have been around this time. But this is the first time for sure that they meet with Peter Parker out of the costume. So they wind up teaming up. They go through this fight. Charlie is gone. So Wolverine puts on the brown and tan. So like I said, you get all four of the costumes, the black, the red and blue, the brown and tan, and the yellow and blue. So they team up, and they're going after all these people that Charlie's trying to kill. They're trying to find out where she is, trying to save her. She, meanwhile, is still killing everybody that's on this list. And basically, Wolverine and Spider-Man, there's some really great tension that's going between them, how different these characters are. I really like it because these characters are so familiar with each other nowadays. It's really interesting to see it in these earlier team-up type of days. But they go off. Wolverine's meditating. Spider-Man's getting restless nights of sleep. And Wolverine does find Charlie, Turns out Charlie's whole thing is this. She just wanted to kill everybody who had betrayed her in that one mission. She has now successfully done that. But she knows that she's going to be hunted down for the rest of her life, so she wants to die in the hands of her lover. Wolverine realizes that, and Wolverine pops his claws. But he misses. He says that he misses, and she's actually now still alive. Spider-Man shows up when he's trying to finish the job, and he's like, "You're fucking crazy, bruh. You're trying to kill your girlfriend?" So they wind up getting in a big fight, and it's a pretty good fight, man. They both kind of get the upper hand here and there. Peter realizes at one point, he says, "This dude will fucking kill me. Like, he's so fast, he's so ferocious, I cannot hold back." So then he just starts fucking letting out with his spider power, starts knocking the shit out of him. Wolverine gets the upper hand again. Spider-Man puts his hand around his throat, starts squeezing. Wolverine's like, "Don't even fucking kid around, kid. You are not going to kill me." Puts his claws up there. He's like threatening him. All of a sudden, these other people show up. It's the KGB. It's whoever are showing up to kill Charlie. Charlie's still over there dying in agony, and Peter's trying to fight Wolverine over it. And then Peter's like, what's going on? Senses something behind him, a threat. Punches. Bruh, it's Charlie. And he kills Charlie with Spider-Man's punch. How bold is that, y'all? So, like, Wolverine, first of all, missing with his claws, like right there, that was pretty dumb. But setting it up so that Charlie goaded Peter into killing her, that's haunting him now, right? So basically Wolverine tells the people that are after her she's dead. They leave, and now Wolverine gets them back into, he's like, "Nobody jumps over the fucking wall, you idiot." So he gets them a fake passport. They get back into West Berlin. They separate. They leave on their own. Peter is just tormented by the fact that he just killed this woman. He straight up killed this woman, y'all. Like, it was her decision and all that jazz, but he killed her. So he goes back home and calls Mary Jane, and he's like, "I could really use a friend right now." And then they embrace. And that is Spider-Man versus Wolverine. So I thought I had the original issue, so I have to get it again. There was a follow-up issue in Web of Spider-Man 29, I believe. I do have that. I found that. So I will cover that probably next week for Marvel in the 80s. But I have it here in the Wolverine Omnibus. We're making our way through. We are to here now. So the next bit will be that. But I've shown this off before. But that's the Spider-Man story right there. I like it overall. It's what I was saying earlier. I wasn't trying to say that the art was bad or that the story wasn't bad. What I was trying to say was that compared to some of the other things that I've been reading, especially in this book, the Wolverine Kitty Pryde book, the Wolverine Captain America issue I just read by Mike Zeck and Mark Grunwald, the Frank Miller, Chris Claremont Wolverine stuff, the Barry Windsor Smith, it's not the greatest, compared to that, but I do like it. It's weird to see Spider-Man in such a low point. Now, I was reading Spider-Man books at this time. That's why I still have some of those original issues, including the follow-up. So it's interesting to see it. It's interesting to go back and see how where the characters are. Joe says, Wolverine and Spider-Man met in Marvel Team Up Annual #1 back in like 76. Hell yeah. Definitely one to check out. That's an early for Wolverine. Hell yeah. But the boldness to have Spider-Man actually kill this person, I remember that being the thing in the Web of Spider-Man. If I remember correctly, I think it's like they're dealing with the death of Ned Leeds, and also the fact that Wolverine's trying to console Peter that he, his guilt over killing this fucking person. Oh yeah, the omnibus is great. We've been going through it for these Marvel in the 80s, Marvel in the 90s, things like that. But all in all, I like the story. If I had to rate it, I'd give it a 3.5. It does kind of drag out, feel a little bit long, overly verbose at times. Priest writes that way. I did not know. I should have known that because I knew that he had a pseudonym for a while. But knowing now that that's Priest and Bright, that's interesting. That's like an early team up for them. But I liked it. So I'd give it a 3.5. It just does kind of run a little bit too long. It's exercised. It's like 60 pages, and the story doesn't necessarily deserve that. Ned Leeds was killed by the Foreigner, not the KGB. that probably gets blown up later on, but in that one, you just think it's, I don't know, it's just because he's there. He's just there, like, investigating the return of Charlie, who's killing people that were in the KGB. So, but anyway, Ned Leeds, that's the dead, but it's like not even like a big deal in the book. Like, they just go there, he's dead, and it's gone. So it's whatever. I think there was more big of a deal when everybody thought Ned Leeds was the Hobgoblin. But anyway, I like the book. It was cool to revisit it, and I'm excited to revisit the follow-up from Web of Spider-Man. We'll be doing that next week, and that has been Marvel in the 80s. All right, that is the bit for now. We will be right back. Taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about Firestarter, top 5 movies of 2002, and we're wrapping up our X-Men annotations on Season 1. Be right back, y'all.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact. Taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat. Put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag. Cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Welcome back, everybody, to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers, the show where we talk about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. It's been a great show already. We've had a fantastic time. I do want to say you should join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, follow Pop Culture Philosophers there. We're also on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. And you can join us over at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, blogs, and a whole lot more. You can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there, or with Super Chat or Super Thanks. And all Super Chats and Super Thanks through the end of May will be directly deposited to us right before, Heroes Con. Speaking of Super Chats, Scarpad had given us a Super Chat while we were doing the Marvel in the 80s bits. How do you feel the MCU and Sony handled J. Jonah Jameson? In the movies, he's kind of parody. It's the one aspect of Spider-Man I don't like. I like him more in the Raimi films, but you're right. They never had the chance to really develop him. And I think that J.K. Simmons could have done that had he had been provided the opportunity. But Sam Raimi, I think, as far as J. Jonah Jameson went, only ever really read the Ditko, maybe early Ramita stuff. But thank you for the Super Chat, Scarpad. Really do appreciate it, man. That's right, the Rockin Robbie Tour coming to a town near you. Heroes Con is the next stop, June 24th and 25th. Catch me in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll be at that con. It's going to be a great con. I'll be there with my homies. And if you're there, let us know. We'll meet up. We'll say what's up. Go get some sushi and grab a beer, something like that. PCP movie night tomorrow night. Jillian's Choice, Black Dynamite. Fucking awesome movie. Can't believe it took me this long to watch it. For Dylan's Horror Show, 1983's Pieces. I'm excited to dive into that one. All right. Speaking of Dylan's Horror Show, we talked about Firestarter last night, so I don't want to repeat myself too much, so very quickly, we're doing a Firestarter movie review. Firestarter, a new cinematic adaptation of the Stephen King novel. There already was a cinematic adaptation in 1984, which I do like. We talked about both of them last night on Dylan's Horror Show. Did a little bit of a compare and contrast. This movie fucking sucks. It's the worst movie I've seen so far in 2022. The kid is okay, I guess. But we were talking last night. Maybe the performance is a little bit better. It should be, because she's 12. Drew Barrymore, I think, was 8 when she did the original. But there's just nothing there. Not even the sexiness of Zac Efron can make this movie good, y'all. Zac Efron, I feel so bad for my boy. He's trying so hard, but it's just not there. There are a couple moments this cat scene kind of worked, but for the most part, they just gutted the fucking story. They shifted shit around. They tried to start in the prequel area and move it forward, and they just gutted the story and the heart of it, which to me is the relationship between Andy McGee and Charlie. They just ruin it and just throw it all up, and they make this whole shit about bullying, and it's just, it doesn't work, and it guts the heart of what the movie's supposed to be. And then the best character in the novel, Rainbird, who is a Native American assassin who's obsessed with like killing people, and he feels like if he stares into their eyes as he kills them and sees them draw their last breath, he like absorbs some bit of their essence. And he's played by George C. Scott. So I was really excited to see an actual Native American actor portray this character. And it's wasted. It's so wasted. This character is nothing like the character in the book or the original movie, and just wasted. This whole movie is a waste. It sucks. I thought it was terrible. I gave it 1 you dig. It's got some decent effects in it, some gnarly kind of kill type things. But for the most part, Blumhouse doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. This movie sucks. Don't watch it. All right, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Too many cats. Never too many cats. What you talking about, Willis? Come on. Oh, thank you, Veritas25. This guy gives some good comic reviews. Thank you so much. How's it supposed to feel? Anybody else watch Firestarter? What'd y'all think? I hated it. I hated it so much. But like I said on Dylan's Horror Show last night, I loved the original Firestarter movie when I was a kid. I watched it as an adult, and I saw all the flaws. But then I read the book shortly after, and then rewatching that this week for Dylan's Horror Show, having read the book, I loved it even more. Oof, why redo a movie and make it worse? I know, right? Well, that ain't never going to stop them. Kirk says I was going to, but not now. It is not good. None of us had anything nice to say about it last night. I encourage everybody to check out the Firestarter comparison that we did on Dylan's Horror Show. All right, let's go back. How far? Back in time to 2002, and let's list our top 5 favorite movies of 2002. This was an interesting list to put together. First up, we're going to have the honorable mentions. Honorable mentions for me for 2002 are Super Troopers. Love that fucking movie. Fable, Steph, and Herm, and Nick, we're talking about White Castle. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, which is 2003. It's the very next year from what we're talking about. But that made me think of how much I loved Super Troopers. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I love that one. Bubba Hotep. Equilibrium. Cabin Fever, and Born Identity. Those are my honorable mentions for my top 5 of 2002. My number 5, I'm going Frailty. Bill Paxton, Matthew McConaughey, Powers Booth. This movie chills me. I love it. I think the performances are absolutely amazing. Great performance from everybody involved. It's about a father who gets visions from God to kill people who he believes are demons with an axe named Otis, and he teaches his sons to do it. And I love the movie, and it's got a great little twist, and it's just really interesting. At number 4, Spider-Man. Come on. This is a great movie. We were talking about Sam Raimi earlier, and how in Spider-Man, he's not able to, it's a Raimi film, but it's not as Raimi as, say, like Doctor Strange, because there were elements of Doctor Strange that made me feel Army of Darkness. But Spider-Man, this is still my favorite Spider-Man movie. It is a perfect distillation of the Ditko and Lee classic, like Amazing Fantasy 15. I love Norman as the Green Goblin. Say what you will about the suit. His personification was dope. I loved this movie. At number 3, 28 Days Later. I love this movie. Reinvented zombie fiction. There was this whole thing where it was like fast zombies and contagion zombies and all that jazz. But this is actually a really solid movie. We covered it last year for PCP Movie Night during Horror Fest because it won one of the Horror Fest movie polls. But I love this film. Sad, stylized, bold. Great performances, Danny Boyle. Number 2, Blade 2. Come on, y'all. I love me some Blade movies. I love Blade 1. I love Blade 2. And Blade 2 was one of those rare instances where a superhero movie sequel was better than the first one at the time. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I still think it's great. Guillermo del Toro. The Reapers are truly terrifying vampire villains. I freaking love this movie. It's got action. It's got the blood pack. It's got humor. It takes everything that worked in Blade 1 and it adds a Del Toro flair to it and another kind of flair to it. And just one of the greatest crimes that we have in pop culture is that there was not a toy line for Blade 2. And at number 1, Hero, Jet Li. Y'all, I didn't watch this movie for the first time until several months ago on the Kung Fu movie journey. But it really hit me, and it hit me hard. And when I looked at all of these movies from 2002, I was like, Hero's the best one. And I loved this movie. It has nuance. It's got style. The way that all these different stories are told through different colors. It's amazing. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. I have covered this a little bit more in depth, my initial reactions, like several months ago on one of the Rockin Robbie lives. If I need to figure out which one it is, but this movie is awesome. I loved it. Amazing performances from so many amazing actors, and the fighting is great, but the level of story, what it's actually telling us about the human experience, it's epic. It's beautiful. Holy shit. I fucking love this movie. So to recap, for 2002, my honorable mentions: Super Troopers, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Bubba Hotep, Equilibrium, Cabin Fever, Born Identity. And at number 5, I've got Frailty. Number 4, Spider-Man. Number 3, 28 Days Later. Number 2, Blade 2. And at number 1, Hero. Sound off. What are your top 5 favorite movies? 2002. All right, let's see what's going on. William says, top 2002 film: Spider-Man, Spirited Away, The Bourne Identity, The Transporter, and Resident Evil. Great films there, for the most part. Eric says, damn, those are some strong honorable mentions. Hell yeah. Mike says, Firestarter 2022 is a lot better than tonight's Suns game. I saw someone mention about a Chris Paul retirement. Did Chris Paul get fucking hurt? Did he like break a fucking ankle or some shit? That's not good. I saw you mention, though, Boston. Yeah, Boston and Miami, Mike. I bet you 2 Mexican pizzas that the Heat beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. Take the bet. 2 Mexican pizzas. Mexican pizzas coming back tomorrow, y'all. Wait, is it tomorrow? Oh, you can get it early tomorrow if you're on the app. I'm not on that app. It's the 19th. Anyway, Mexican pizza's coming back this week, y'all. I'm super excited. Cannot wait to have a Mexican pizza again. Anyway, Mike, I bet you 2 Mexican pizzas and a soda. I bet on the Heat. You let me know what you think. Eric says, oh man, Frailty is so slept on. Great Hitchcockian movie. Nowhere Bound says, never saw Frailty. Will do. Thanks. For real. You're welcome. That movie, I love that fucking movie. Kirk says, 28 Days is in my top 10. 28 Days is the Sandra Bullock film about rehab. I'm talking about 28 Days Later. It's like this Contagion zombie film, Kirk. Come on. Kirk says, 30 Days of Night. Fable says, Blade 2 is so awesome. Ronald says, Frailty fire. Norn Rad says, Hero was epic. Fable says, wow, Hero, bold, proud of you. Manny, old Manenstein himself says, in no particular order, Spider-Man, 28 Days Later, The Two Towers, Blade 2, and Solaris. Solaris was, and Two Towers, those are close to honorable mentions, too. What about Blade 3? They never did a Blade 3. Did he just say making fuck? Don't fucking distract the stream like that, bro. Just kidding, trade paper. Funny enough, Firestarter movie came out in 2002. Yeah, that was the one with Malcolm McDowell, right, as Rainbird. No, the Suns are just getting an old-fashioned ass whooping. All right. Fable says, top 5 of 2002 is Minority Report, Spider-Man, Blade 2, 28 Days Later, and Two Towers. Pretty solid year. Not as solid as 2000 or 2001 when I was looking at it, but I still liked it. Hell yeah. All right, y'all. It's time to bring to a conclusion our X-Men annotation on X-Men animation for season 1. So we've been going through all the X-Men animated series episodes, and now we are here for the 13th episode of the X-Men animated series. Real quick, Mike says, I will take that bet. All right. Spider-Man, Bourne Identity, Time Machine, Minority Report, Gangs of New York. All right. Good. Good top 5. I considered Gangs of New York. I did. Did not consider the Time Machine. The Guy Pearce one. I like the 60s one a little bit better. But it's time for your X-Men annotation and X-Men animation. Let's talk about the final decision. All right, the final decision is the final episode of season 1 of the X-Men animated series. I watched it today. This was fucking awesome. Holy shit. So revisiting this X-Men animated series has been a mixed bag. For the most part, I've really enjoyed it. And especially lately, I've been comparing it to the X-Men Adventures comic book, that one wasn't as exciting today. But the episode itself, this is one of the best episodes of season 1 of the X-Men outside of Night of the Sentinels or Cold Vengeance or whatever the fuck that one was called, right? But it basically starts off, Magneto has kidnapped Senator Kelly. There was a cliffhanger at the end of Days of Future Past Part 2. Magneto kidnapped Senator Kelly. He's going to kill him, start a war between mutants and humans, so mutants can band together and wipe out humanity. The Sentinels show up. They got different plans. They take Senator Kelly and wreck Magneto because, you ready for this? They're made out of fucking plastic, is what they say. So Magneto can't use his magnetic powers, but he does take bits of the ship that he's in and like wreck like at least a couple of them. But then Senator Kelly gets away, gets taken to meet Trask. Trask has got a new master mold. We've seen the master mold already. One of the things that this whole episode does so well is take all these threads from season 1 and bring it all together. It was really, really cool. Anyway, so they're trying to talk to the Sentinel. The Sentinel's like, yeah, dude, we're going to kill mutants and we're going to kill humans. In fact, we're going to take Senator Kelly, replace his brain with fucking computer. And they're like, Master Mold, your Sentinel's not listening to us. Master Mold's like, that's right, bitches. It's because I straight up am like, fuck humans, fuck mutants, mankind. So he's got a plan now. He's going to kidnap every world leader and replace their brains with a fucking computer. Very simple, right? Meanwhile, back at the X-Mansion, they're trying to figure out how to... So the X-Men go and they find Magneto, okay? So he uses Cerebro. He finds Magneto. They get Magneto back. I don't know if we're there yet, actually, but they have to mind probe Gambit to get information about the guy who he saw at the Master Mold facility in Genosha, which, of course, we know is Trask. So Gambit has not necessarily always wanted to volunteer to be a team player, nor has he wanted to expose his past, and he lets himself be mind swiped by Xavier. We see Belladonna, and we see Ghost Rider in a bit, which was really cool, seeing Ghost Rider. I remember that being a kid, but that leads them to Henry Gyrick. So they find out who he is. They go, they capture him. He gets a call from Trask, who's like, yo, the Master Mold is revolted. He's trying to replace all the world leaders' brains with fucking computers. And they all have this really crazy moment together where they all are having to come to this realization that they're going on a suicide mission. And then Magneto shows up and he's like, he's got thousands of fucking Sentinels. He's going to goddamn kill y'all. And the X-Men are like, you know what? That's what we're here to do. Even Jubilee, bringing that whole thread, it really does a great job of bringing every single story thread together, including Jubilee's introduction to the X-Men. Now she is crying with tears saying, I will go on this mission. I am an X-Men now, she tells Wolverine, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So they leave Magneto behind, and Magneto's like, the brave die first. You're fools. You're heroes, but you're fools. So they wind up going. They have this plan to take out the Master Mold, to beat through the Sentinels, and to save Senator Kelly. So Gambit and Wolverine, who throughout this entire season have kind of been at odds here and there, they get to team up. Every X-Men gets their spot to shine here. Rogue, Storm, Jubilee. Jean doesn't. Jean actually does not. Jean is so fucking weak in this again. But everybody gets to have their moment. Gambit and Wolverine bond. At the end, Gambit and Rogue kiss. So everybody gets to have their moment. Even the moment where Cyclops, they go in with Jean and they save Senator Kelly, but all like Gambit and Wolverine are still there. And Jean's like, let's go. And he goes, no, I'll never leave another X-Man behind again. He learns his lesson from the death of Morph. So he goes back, he saves everybody. They kill through all of these Sentinels, but the Master Mold shows up. But Xavier is in the fucking X-Jet, the Blackbird, and he's got it filled with explosives, and he's going to kamikaze into this Master Mold. The Master Mold is about to blow him away. Magneto shows up, actually saves Xavier, and then Magneto saves Xavier. Xavier gets to leap out of the plane, and it goes through the Master Mold and destroys him. And that's pretty much the episode. I loved it. It brought all of that shit together. All of the story threads with Senator Kelly and the Mutant Registration Act. At the end, Beast gets released from prison. At the end there, too, Cyclops gets to go back and not leave an X-Man behind. Wolverine gets to team up with Gambit. Storm gets to shine. Rogue and Gambit have their moment. Gambit gets to trust the X-Men a little bit more and all that kind of stuff. Oh, my God. So here is X-Men Adventures issue number 15. This is the issue that covers this. It's kind of a boring issue. Look at that X-Men underwear ad. That's so crazy. Haynes and the X-Men team up to fight the underwear against boring boxing briefs. So that's crazy. This is all right. It's kind of by the numbers. There are some differences. Magneto does not show up at the end of this to save Xavier. Like, he's still bitter as fuck the entire time. So there are certain things that are different. Look at that TMNT Tournament Fighters ad. So I'll just flip through this real quick for y'all so you can see it. But overall, I loved this episode. I thought it was actually really well done. And having watched these episodes and comparing it to certain things, especially if you compare it to like Batman the Animated Series, which was going on at the time, it is not Batman the Animated Series, but the X-Men series is good. And I've mentioned that on this entire journey through season 1, that the way that they were able to build up subplots and stories, and here in the final episode, the final decision, pay it off. The only thing that doesn't really get paid off is the Apocalypse Cable stuff, but that is still dangling for the future because, there is more to come, because at the very tail end, Cyclops goes to Jean and proposes to her and says, "Will you marry me?" And she's like, if we have children, they'll be mutants. And he's like, "I will not have it any other way." So they propose, and then we got this tease where someone is watching Cyclops and Jean, and it's obviously Mr. Sinister. We don't see him yet, but it's obviously Mr. Sinister, and he's like, "I've got plans for you." Look at that Karl Malone right there. So I'm going to flip this through real quick before we wrap up here. But once again, I am just really impressed revisiting this season 1 of X-Men, the animated series, at how well they tie it all together. Like Cyclops as the leader, Wolverine and Gambit as those rogue factors, Rogue and all that stuff, the Sentinels, Magneto, Genosha, the Master Mold. Some pretty solid artwork here. And another thing I really like about this, and look, another difference here is Cyclops blasts off this Master Mold's head, and then Xavier just flies through and decapitates the Master Mold. So it's a little bit different there too. Kelly's running for president. He's now pro-mutant. And Beast gets freed from prison finally. And then, like I said, Sinister shows up. They actually show Sinister here. One of the cool things about the book is that it does its own version of the Xavier files, the things you would see in the credits. It does its own version here at the end, which I thought was really freaking cool. So we'll show those. Hey, look, Multiverse of Madness. I used to watch all these because it had those 3D bits at the end. And then, of course, an ad for the VHS cassettes and an ad for the NFL game. So, yeah, that was your annotation on X-Men Animation. That is the conclusion of Season 1. We've done it. We've revisited it. We've recapped it. And that's it. Next week, we're taking a break from X-Men. And we're actually going to start doing the same thing, but with the Turtles. We're doing Season 1 of the Turtles, which is I think only 5 episodes. So we're going to do that instead. And it's going to be totally talking Turtles. Wait. There was another T in there. Totally talking Turtles tonight. That's what it is. So we're going to debut that next week. So If you got Paramount Plus, I think it's there. If not, I got my DVD set. We're going to go through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Episode 1 next week. Hell yeah. Silver Surfer, one day for sure, but we got a lot ahead of us because we do still plan on getting through all of the X-Men. But, there you go. All right, it's time for show and tell. What do we got? Speaking of turtles, got this from my buddy Brian and his wife. They found this at a thrift store. It's a youth novel adaptation of the TMNT movie. So that's pretty cool. For my birthday from my boss's wife, and his kids, basically the boss's family, I got this Damien figure. I'm not familiar with this line. There's some bat-centric, it's like a Batman line, it looks like. But it promises that there are 3 surprise accessories inside. So let's open this up and figure it out. What's in there? So I got the Rob and Damien figure. Let's take him out and see what he looks like. Got like a plastic cape kind of thing, but like a, not like a molded plastic. It's like a loose one. How do you get it out of there? All right. So it is a Damien figure. He just has, so it's like a little, you know, those like costumes you would have as a kid with plastic. It's like, that's the cape. This is Damien. He's got this like tech kind of stuff. It's translucency. It's not a bad figure. All right, what are the 3 accessories we got? Mystery accessories. 2 fell out. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. We got a like gun, like a radar gun type thing, which honestly seems ridiculously big for him. But we got this like lance. And it looks like some kind of fucking Silverhawk bat type thing. So different weapons. I guess, do they each come with the same one, or they're mixed up? I don't fucking know. But that's really cool. I want to show this, my latest starting lineup. The double pack, Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris. Go Yankees. Yankees have been doing really freaking good. So I got that. It's been hanging up on my starting lineup wall. This was a gift from Jelani for my birthday. It's a Dracula Universal Monsters Transformer. Pretty dope. Excited to get into that one day. It's Dracula. He turns into a bat. He's a Transformer. I've always told everybody I had one CGC book. And it was a gift to me. That's why I have it. But it's a 9.2 gold foil lethal protector. It's cracked. So it's an old label. I don't care about CGC books. It's cracked right there too. I just always wanted this gold foil and I never had it. And years ago, a good buddy of mine got that for me, Icy Cold Milk, and I still have it. I did pick this up. Delta Probe 1, Superpowers action figure line. This is near complete. It's got a little bit of a mess up here. It's a little broken up there. And I'm missing the bomb that drops. But aside from that, it works. It still makes the sound. And very excited for that. This is for the Superpowers action figure line, which I adore and love. And do collect. And I decided, for a while I was opening these Transformers. I was learning how to transform them and I stopped. But I learned how to transform my Grimlock. So I did it today. Look at that. Just watched a YouTube video. And pretty easy transformation on this. This is from the Studio Series 86 line or whatever. But hell yeah. My Grimlock. So that's dope. So that's show and tell. Which brings us to the final 5. Going through the Blu-ray collection, continuing with the record movies, whatever you want to call it. That's the fourth one. There's 4 of these damn things. So there you go. All right, next up, Rent. Unfortunately, if I didn't have COVID, I would start singing. But we're not gonna pay. I love Rent. That's the film adaptation. And that is the filmed live on Broadway, the final performance. I'm a musical guy, including Repo, the genetic opera. I love this movie. We still need to do this on PCP Movie Night. You just wait and see. And then I got Requiem for a Dream. I haven't opened it yet. This came from my buddy Blake. It was a gift for, I think, Christmas last year. And I also got this gifted to me for my birthday last year by 62 Lefty Blues on DVD. And what's crazy is, like, people ask me about this film, and I act like I haven't seen it because I don't want to talk about it because I didn't necessarily like it. But I do owe both 62 and Blake a revisit. So that is the final 5. So there you go. That's what we got. Mike says, I'm not big on slab books either, but the Venom Gold book is pretty sweet. Yeah, I may crack it out of there one day completely. It's cool, though. I mean, obviously, this is one of my favorite comics. I'm a Venom fan. I love Lethal Protector. I love the red foil, but, the gold foil, nowadays, it's the black foil, the mistake one. That's the, like, ooh, but, like, yeah, Paris Hilton is in that. But the gold foil was like, I was like, I'll never, ever get that. And then eventually I got it, so that's dope. Oh, I love Repo. Repo Man, things you see in a graveyard. Things you see in a graveyard. All right, that's the show. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I know I wasn't as energetic as I typically can be, but I do appreciate everybody being here, participating in the chat, paying attention to the bits. We love you. We'll be back next week. Weekly comic book review. Join us tomorrow night for PCP Movie Night, Black Dynamite. And then Saturday night, Pieces over at Dylan's Horror Show. Y'all, it's been a blast. Sorry we've been gone for so long. We shouldn't have left you without a dope song to step 2. Step 2. Step 2. Step 2. Step 2. Well, one more thing. His name was Hellboy. Station, y'all. We'll see you next time. Peace. right, before we dip out completely, about a month ago, Mike came back from tour, and he had brought me some goodies back. Some candy. I've already eaten all the candy. It was good. It's good, bro. I saved all the chips, though, and some of the sodas. He brought me back Ruby Red Squirt. That was great. But I've saved the sodas. Like, this one I've been saving for tonight. And I wanted to try this. This was the first one I wanted to try. It's from Canada. He got me a Barks Cherry Bite. So I guess it's like cherry root beer. But y'all, I am so freaking ready. Spicy cherry flavored soda. So it's like Barks, so cherry soda. So like a lot of those people will do like cream soda, root beer, and cherry, like a black cherry. This is Cherry Bite. It's from Canada. I've been waiting for this. Now, I think Fable had asked me about the taste. I have lost some sense of taste and smell on certain things, but not on everything. It's been really weird. So let's see. Like, I can't smell that at all. But I can taste it. Tastes pretty good. Not bad. Now, I don't know if the COVID is fucking with me, but it doesn't have a lot of bite. But I like it. Man, I don't know. How does that taste? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I should have fucking saved it. God damn it. Now I gotta get another one of these from Canada. I can taste the sweetness. Seems smooth. I don't know. I like it, though. It's pretty good. Thank you, Mike, and thank y'all. You know, another thing that he got me from Canada that I've been itching to try are these Hawkins Cheesies. So these are like Canadian Cheez-Its. He says they're like better than Cheetos. I said Cheez-Its. I meant Cheetos. Cheesies. These are from Canada. Can't smell nothing. Tastes like a Cheeto. It is got more of a, like an upfront punch with it. The texture's different. It's like a typical Cheeto and a Cheeto Puff. This is like the middle ground. I like it. It's incredibly salty. Cheesy. It's good. I'm a Cheesies fan. Thank y'all.